Hello, my name's Mike, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do the $69 PC build that we saw on Linus Tech Tips a couple years ago. I ended up doing this build because I wanted to be able to have a computer when I was at school that could help me run different programs I needed for class and be able to do some low-level gaming like with CSGO, League of Legends, games like that. Nothing too serious. And so here's how you do it. So things you'll need to do this computer upgrade today are going to be a Dell Optiplex 380, which I was able to find online for around $30. This Intel Core 2 Quad Q9550, 20 bucks about was what I paid for it. This GPU, which we use is a Dell NVIDIA GeForce GTX 650 Ti, which I was able to get for around $22. And you also need thermal paste, which is this guy right here. I ended up getting around for $13, but you probably get it cheaper if you find the different sources online. A U-Green SATA power cable is what we get for around $11, and this Asia Horse PCI Express card. You can get cheaper ones online for around $5, but I ended up splurging, kind of getting more for 17 or so. And cleaning wipes. I got this one through Noctua. This whole pack of I think 20 or 30 for around $8, but you can probably just use any sort of microfiber towel and alcohol swabs to get the thermal paste off of the old rig fine. So you don't need to end up spending that much money. So yeah, and also you need a Phillips head screwdriver. It'll be a really long one just because, size matters. And go here. See, so first up is going to be opening the Dell Optiplex 380. So this is kind of a big guy, and just to let you know, if you're buying used, which you probably will be if you're buying through eBay like I did, expect it to be pretty dusty. So if you're opening up in your living room somewhere, just make sure to be able to clean the mess afterwards if it ends up being like that. To clean that off, I ended up using this LCD wipes and just compressed air that I just got from any regular grocery store. You could probably find it there. But yeah, so you just take it over here, and what I did was I pulled back this tab right here, and the door comes off. Pulls off right here. And if you're buying online too, don't forget to double check and make sure that when you're buying a Dell Optiplex that it comes with a power cable and things like either a hard drive or a solid state drive like I got right here, and RAM, which is back here. These two guys are the RAM. I think naturally it comes with around 4 gigabytes of RAM. I was able to get some RAM pretty cheap online, so I upgraded to 16 gigs so that'll affect gameplay a little bit. And when first starting off after this build, if you get an error message saying they have low voltage and then they can't actually run your OS or any games, that happened with me. So all you need to do is check out and make sure that this little battery right here is good to go. These are pretty cheap online. It's able to get a pack of 4 for like $8, and yeah, a lot of the time that's just the problem. You actually don't end up needing to change out the entire hard drive. So the first thing we're going to do is upgrade the CPU. So I'm going to turn it over on the side. Great, so the CPU is underneath this heatsink and cover right here. So we're just going to take our Phillips head screwdriver and put it down underneath this little screw right here first. Unscrew it a couple turns. And same thing over here up top. Unscrew it a couple turns. Come off like that. So what we have here is a CPU with thermal paste from the, maybe the previous owner was using it and wanted to make sure that the heat can conduct between the CPU, which is doing all this math work, make our games run, and the computer to work, and the heatsink right here. It's a lot of fun. So I'm just gonna, with this model at least, you can just jiggle this out for a little bit without breaking it, which is awesome. And then you take this lever, pull it back towards you, lift it up a little bit, and then take the, I'm sure what you call this, little cover off. It's got a little thermal paste, so we're just going to take it off right here, and then add another dollop in a second with this next CPU. This CPU is great, not for gaming or anything like that, but if you're looking for something that doesn't need to be playing any games, it's probably fine. This guy going in, making sure that these are to the right as you place it down. Just put it down like this. jiggle it around a little bit, make sure it's secure. Putting this guy down, and then reattaching the screen right here. Next step is pretty easy. We just take the, little paste bit right here, and take off the cap, and add about pea size on top of the CPU, like so. It's a little bit much, but I like to have a little bit extra thermal paste. We don't have to overflow onto the motherboard because that'd be kind of not good. So we're taking this. And if you want, you can probably, I think it's probably a good idea to clean off the thermal paste on the outside, so I'm doing that really quick off screen and then putting this back on. Paste off of this guy right here, and we're going to put it back on and reattach it, and then screw in the bolts to make sure that they'll stay on when you're actually using the computer. Okay, and then taking the Phillips head screwdriver, screwing this back on. Lefty loosey to get it off, and then righty tighty to put it back on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or how many it takes to hear a little. What's that noise? How did you describe that? Like that little clickety clack noise. Make sure not to over tighten too, if you can, just because it might warp your motherboard a little bit and make it a little bit harder for the computer to do its job for as long as it can. Great, so now we got the CPU installed. We're going to take the PCI slot extender and then put it in. So we'll take this, make sure the notch is lined up the right way with this guy right here, with the PCI Express slots. Take it down, plug it in. Yeah. Sweet. This guy's going right there. We're taking the GPU and plugging it in like so. And before we do that, just to make sure you understand, there's this little bit attached to the end of it, at least on my model. I just wiggled it around till this part came off so that there's enough of a gap to where you can put your GPU slot through and then end up using the DVI to HDMI to connect to your monitor. But yeah, look at that. Look at the phone. I'm going to do this. Look at my chin. You can do that. Let's see if this works. So yeah, you just plug it in like this. Damn it. We're just going to leave it upside down for a little bit and see if we can switch it later. We gotta take the GPU, plug it in like so, and then just fit it nice and snug. And then to make sure it stays secure, I would probably add the HDMI to DVI to hold it in place from the outside right here. And so just before we keep going, the GeForce GTX 650 Ti does not get enough power on its own just from the motherboard, the connection from the PSU to the motherboard. So you'll actually need to borrow some power from the optical drives. This is the same drive we use to like watch DVDs or use for CDs. So since you can get most of the stuff online, you don't really see that as much in newer models of computers. So we're just going to take this guy right over here. It's power connector to the optical drive right here, like so. And use this adapter we talked about earlier. Connect it, make sure that's copper to copper, otherwise it won't work so good. And then take the 6-pin connector and attach that to the GPU right here, like so. So that's all attached, and we're going to take our DVI to HDMI cable and sort of hold it through here, like this, attaching it to the slot. At least for me, it's one of the nearest to you without. It looks like this kind of. this slot right here. This guy. For a good visual. Yeah, that's the one you want to attach it to. For this to work out nice and good. You take it. This guy. Flip it around. It's going to attach to this from the outside. You sort of plug it in and then screw in little bolts. Make sure it's extra secure. And when that's done, we can reconnect the power cable and then close up the little gate thing and start the game. So yeah, just put it back on, pretty simple. You just take the whole panel, slide it down at the bottom, get that to connect, and then give it a good shove up top. So yeah, it seems to run League of Legends pretty okay. I had a little bit of trouble running games like Rocket League and Fortnite though, just with the current update the way it is right now. But, you know, it'd be like that sometimes. It really do. But yeah, so I at the end of the day, ended up spending around a little bit more than what Linus was able to get it for. So his build was $69 on including tax. Mine not including tax around $98. So if you're looking for anything, a cheap starter thing, maybe you're getting into PC building in the first place, or just need something cool that'll work for games and for school, I'd recommend the $69 PC build. Maybe if you do a little bit better negotiating than I did, probably get it closer to $69. But yeah, hope you have a great day.